The juicy hot take. Modern Warfare 2019 was the closest thing to the golden age of Call of Duty. Hey yo, it's Vondo. And today we're gonna be coming out with some Call of Duty hot takes. I don't know why I did that dumbass voice, but this first one is going to be me assuming that these leaks are true, that the next game, Call of Duty 2021, is going to be based around World War II. That's going to be the theme of the game. And the hot take is really simple, is that World War II games are boring as shit. They're boring as shit. They've been done so many times to hell and back, and they're doing another one. Now, the most confusing thing about them doing another World War II game is that Sledgehammer Games specifically made one 4 years ago. You know, it came out the 8th generation of consoles. It looked relatively good for a Call of Duty game. So, I don't see the point of them making another World War II multiplayer shooter. I really don't. Or even when it comes to, you know, narrative-wise, because let's say they focus more on the Pacific Theater of War. Alright, whoop-de-doo. Like, they've already done that, whatever. And that's not going to affect the content in the game because, you know, when it comes, you know, supply drops, when it comes to DLC and patches, you know, that's going to get all jumbled up anyway. So, like, I don't care. But the only good thing about this is that Sledgehammer Games, they will get a full development cycle. They get a clean, full slate to make a game. And that's promising because they did make a lot of good changes with World War II 6 months down the life of that game. So I like to see what they can do with a full slate. I like to see what they can do with the new hardware and with the new engine, because the new engine is great. Too bad Cold War didn't use it, but the new engine is great. So I like to see what they can do, you know, with new hardware, a full dev time, and just new engine. So I like to see what they can do with that, because they did make a lot of good changes with World War II, even though it wasn't my cup of tea. But when it comes to World War II games and just World War I games in general, they're boring. And Battlefield 1 was a great example of this, because while that was a good game to play, like when it comes to the mechanics, the gameplay, all that, it was just boring as shit, because the theme is boring to me. Like, it just doesn't keep my attention well at all. And being that I'm aware of this, I didn't even buy Battlefield 5, because one, they said some weird shit about that game pre-release, and then when the game actually came out, they made some changes to gameplay that the community wasn't very fond of. But it's because it was World War II. I never get bored of it. So World War games are just boring as hell in general, man. I think they need to stop making them. You know, give it a rest for like 10 years. Because if I say 5, people's like, well, it was 5 years ago since they made World War II. Let's make another one. Nah, give it a rest for 10 years. Give it a rest. But the second one, our second hot take. This one's alright, but this one is that Black Ops 2 is actually a good game, and it introduced a skill gap. Now, Advanced Warfare introduced said skill gap with a futuristic movement, but Black Ops 3 actually the movement right. Even though they ripped it off from Respawn Entertainment with Titanfall, they did the futuristic movement right with Black Ops 3. It was more controlled. The maps flowed a lot better. They could have done more when it came to maps, because there was a lot of invisible barriers in those maps, but the game was a step in the right direction. You know, it did breathe, you know, some fresh life into the franchise after being stale for quite some time, because they went into the direction of making jetpack games. But it was actually done right. It was cool. I have the same sentiment for Infinite Warfare. Only problem was, being that that game was basically Black Ops 3, you know, a few tweaks, like if you just went in and changed the sliders a little bit here and there. But Infinite Warfare was boring because I already played a shit ton of Black Ops 3 the year before it, and I just didn't care for it. But apparently the campaign in Infinite Warfare was pretty good, so that's nice to hear. But yeah, Black Ops 3, very good game. Second best game on the 8th generation of consoles until Modern Warfare came out. And here comes the next hot take, the juicy hot take. Modern Warfare 2019 was the closest thing to the golden age of Call of Duty. Actually, you could say that it is the new golden age of Call of Duty. And well, here's why. One, the numbers. It sold the most copies of all time. Like, even though I hate the maps in Modern Warfare and the way they implemented some of the camo progressions in that game, it's gotta be doing something right if it sells the most copies of all time. It has to be doing something right. And I know Warzone was that game, and people loved Warzone, but it sold the most copies before Warzone even came out. So it has to be doing something right there. And it did do things right. One was the new engine. The new engine was great because of the new animations, the new sound, attention to detail, and the graphical leap that the franchise has taken in like a decade. Yeah, a decade, because Modern Warfare came out in 2019, and 2009 2008, 2009 was on Modern Warfare 2. So yeah, they haven't taken a graphical leap in a decade, and the game looked great. Game looked great, engine was great. Only problem with that game was how the maps were pretty shit. Maps were pretty shit, and the skill-based matchmaking. I don't care about SBMM anymore because Black Ops Cold War has it, and that game just straight up isn't as good as Modern Warfare. So yeah, it's not skill-based matchmaking. It's not. The game just isn't that good compared to Modern Warfare. And because the game also is missing a lot of content from Black Ops Cold War. They did drop Season 2, but I don't think they've done much to add content. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2019, close thing to the golden age. That's Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, whatever Call of Duty you think is the best of all time. It's a close thing to that. And unfortunately, if you didn't like Modern Warfare 2 that comes out in 2022 is going to be, you know, the next close thing to Modern Warfare 2 and whatnot, to the golden age. But yeah, that's the hot take on Modern Warfare. Really good game, and the apex of this series, if you're looking at it when it comes to the, you know, the numbers. But our next hot take is going to be on content creators of Call of Duty. More specifically, the content creators that have carved a lane and some popularity on hating the game every year. I don't have a problem with you hating Call of Duty. I dislike Advanced Warfare. Ghost still the worst game. Not the worst game I ever played, the worst Call of Duty game I've ever played. And you know, I don't like World War II games. You know, with the franchise that's been out for 15 some odd years, you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna like every game you play. You're not. But my issue is how these content creators, they play the game and buy the game every year. And this isn't something they've done, you know, maybe every couple of years, every once in a while. They do this shit every year. It's been going on for the last 4 or 5 years. And at that point, I would just assume you don't like Call of Duty anymore. You know, like if you kept, like, let's say you're playing fighting games, right? And every Tekken game you played was trash. Every Street Fighter game you played was trash. Every Virtua Fighters game you played was trash. What else? Every Dead or Alive game you played was trash. Every Mortal Kombat game you played was trash. I would just say, hey, maybe you don't like fighting games. And I think that's the case for these content creators that make videos hating whichever Call of Duty comes out. Because they do it for every Call of Duty that's been out for the last 5 or some odd years. Like, at that point, I'm like, maybe you don't like Call of Duty anymore. And I think that's the case for these content creators. But being that there is a check involved, maybe that's why they keep making these videos. And I'm assuming that is the reason. And I can't knock the hustle. Like, I respect that. But you just look a little silly, you know, bitching out the game every year. Especially when you have, you know, actual options when it comes to other first-person shooters to play. Like, they act like Battlefield doesn't exist. They act like Rainbow Six Siege doesn't exist. Overwatch, Counter-Strike, Darude Sandstorm. I'm just kidding. I was just playing. I don't know that other one, that other first-person shooter, but it has something like Sandstorm Agency in it, like something like that. There's plenty of other FPS games in the market, is all I'm saying. And you shouldn't just be playing Call of Duty if you know you want to get that FPS itch. It's not like sports games where they have a monopoly, and I'm pretty sure just about all the sports. Specifically 2K, Madden, and a bit of FIFA, because there's no other valid options when it comes to those games. Like Madden, NFL, there's an exclusive license for football games, American football games. And even though there is an exclusive license for NBA games, NBA Live is just that fucking garbage that, yeah, you can only buy 2K, because how you know NBA Live is so garbage, they haven't released one in like 3 years. Not even an announcement for the next NBA Live game on next-gen hardware. That's how bad NBA Live is compared to 2K. So it's not like, you know, they don't have any other valid options when it comes to sports games, because you don't. But when it comes to first-person shooters, you do. And I just don't get why you complain about a game that you don't like every year. It seems insufferable. But they're getting the check again. I can respect that. And if it is about the check, yeah, keep making money, bro. I'm not gonna hate on other content creators making money. I'm not gonna do that. But you do look silly hating on the game every year. You do look a little silly. But I think that's all of our hot takes we have for today. I am going to make another hot take another hot take video about video games, entertainment in general. It's mainly gonna focus on video games, but you know, we're gonna sprinkle some other entertainment in there, and it's gonna be about the SJWs. Yeah, it's a hot take video, so it's not me saying that SJWs ruin every game like you've been saying in your YouTube videos for the last 5 years, because it wouldn't be a hot take, right? But yeah, some games that will be covered in that or mentioned in that video will be Cyberpunk, and The Last of Us. Those are two pretty good games. You know, talk about some hot takes, shit like that. But that's really all I got for today. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm gonna make another hot take too. Let me make another one right on the spot as we're recording this. Modern Warfare 2, 2022. That's gonna be the next pinnacle or the apex of Call of Duty, because of all the hype that they would have from the success that Modern Warfare 2019 was. I'm gonna go out on a limb with that right now. I'm gonna project 30 million copies. Yeah, 30 million copies, because one, is gonna be more PS4s, not PS4s, PS5s, Xbox Series X's out there, and being that we'll only be 2 to 3 years into the 9th generation next gen consoles, they're still gonna be, you know, having support for the 8th gen consoles. So yeah, that's the hot take as well. Modern Warfare 2 2022 will be another one of the best selling Call of Duties ever. More like in the top 3. And yeah, our next video will be, or our next gaming video will be SJW's Entertainment and a hot take on that. And that's all I got for today. But with that out the way, bars, y'all stay safe, and I'm out. Now this is the last take I got when it comes to kids these days too sensitive for COD lobbies, blah blah blah. This community bitch about skill-based matchmaking. I don't want to hear it. We're grown. That's another thing. Like, we're grown. Modern Warfare 2 was like what, 11 years ago? Come on, guys. We're better than that. We're adults now. But with that out the way, y'all stay safe, and I'm out for real this time.